Hey guys, how you going? In this video I'm going to be showing you how to create this custom confirm window right here using plain HTML, CSS and JavaScript. There will be no need for any sort of external library. So it's compatible with all of the major modern browsers including Edge, Chrome, Firefox and Safari. But unfortunately there will be no support for Internet Explorer without the use of a polyfill. So here is the final result. We can actually modify the title, the message, the text on the buttons down here, and of course you can even pass in your own custom functions for the when the user presses the OK button or they cancel. So it's fully customizable by the developer or yourself who is actually using this custom confirm window. So for example, if I was to press cancel right here, it'll go away. If I was to press it again and press OK, obviously the custom function runs and the background changes to be blue. It's also got a bit of an animation when you open up the window and when you close it. So let's go inside this file right here. We're going to start from scratch with a plain HTML document. So let's go inside the text editor right here. We're going to start with this HTML. So firstly we're going to be creating a new directory to hold the CSS and the JavaScript for the custom confirm window. So I can call this directory confirm. Inside here I'll make two files, confirm.css and of course confirm.js. And then we can simply include these two files in the HTML. So I can say for the CSS, of course, link CSS, for confirm /confirm CSS, and for the JavaScript, script source confirm confirm.js. So now the CSS and the JS have been loaded. We can focus solely on the CSS first. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to be writing out the HTML structure for the custom confirm window inside here, and then we're going to use CSS to of course style it. But eventually we're going to be getting rid of the HTML inside the body, and instead that'll be generated on the fly by the JavaScript. So for now let's write the HTML for the confirm window right here. So firstly we're going to need a div with a class of confirm, just like that. And this will be the container for the whole confirm window, which includes the black opaque background. So I'm going to go inside the CSS right here, and we can begin styling the confirm class. So I can say .confirm right here. A position of fixed will ensure that it remains on top of everything else, even when the user scrolls down. A top of 0 and a left of 0 ensures it stays in the top left corner. And a width of 100% as well as the height ensures it covers the entire visible browser area. And a background of RGBA 0.6 will create the 60% opaque black background. We can also give it some padding of 10px. This is basically going to ensure that there is space on either side, especially when we resize down to make it mobile responsive. A box sizing of border box helps us style up the borders and the padding later on. So I'm going to save this right here and refresh the browser, and we have this result right here. So looking not bad so far. We can now work on the animation which appears when you actually open up the window. So we can see here it sort of fades in. So basically the opacity just changes from 0 to be 1 after 0.2 seconds. So let's go back inside here, inside the CSS, and we can begin this by firstly setting the opacity to be 0. We can then define the animation, so we can say keyframes right here. We can call this animation confirm -- open. Inside here we can basically say we're going to go from an opacity of 0 to an opacity of 1. So simple as that. I can now go inside here and I can say animation name to be confirm -- open. I just like using 3 dashes for my animation names. and we can say animation duration as being 0.2 seconds and animation fill mode of forwards like this will ensure that the opacity stays at 1 once the animation has been completed. So basically what's going to happen is whenever the JavaScript puts the confirm window on the HTML document, the animation is going to fire off straight away and it should fade in from 0 to 1 opacity after 0.2 seconds. So I'm going to save this and refresh the browser, and watch closely, we can see the animation right there. I'll slow it down to be something like 1 second for demonstration, save this, refresh it. Now you can see for sure it definitely fades in. So let's go back inside here and finish off the confirm container. So we're going to say here display of flex, align items of center, and justify content also in the center. These three properties allows us to perfectly center horizontally and vertically the confirm window itself. Obviously this is the container, and of course the window is going to be inside of it. Okay, so I believe that is all for the confirm class. We can now move on to a class which will basically have the animation of closing the window. So essentially what's going to happen is we're going to have a class on the confirm window called confirm dash dash close. So for example, confirm dash dash close, just like this. And this is basically just going to simply run an animation which will close the window. And this will be, you guessed it, from opacity of 1 to opacity of 0. So I can say here animation name confirm dash 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 close this time round, and then I can define that animation down here once again. So keyframes confirm dash 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 close, and it's going to be the complete opposite of this one right here. So I'll copy and paste this and flip the numbers around. So we're going to go from 1 back down to 0, just like that. So now when we add the confirm close class to the confirm container within with the JavaScript, it will then of course animate down from 0 to 1 opacity. Actually, sorry, from 1 to 0 opacity. So I can save this and refresh the browser. Then I can go inside the element section here and I can manually add the class of confirm dash dash close, press enter. We can see here it will then fade out. And that is all for the entire confirm container. We can now move on to the confirm window. So I'll just refresh this and go back to the CSS. So for the window in the HTML, it's going to look like this. It's going to be div with a class of confirm underscore underscore window. So I'm going to be using, as usual, the block element modifier CSS class naming convention, but you can name these classes whatever you like. So for this window element here, we're going to go back inside the CSS and style this one up. So we can just say down here, confirm underscore underscore window. We're going to give this a width of 100% initially. So we'll say this right here, and then a max width of 600 pixels. This right here, these two properties are going to ensure the window itself is going to be responsive, which means that it's going to try and have the most width it can with this property, but it's going to be maxed out at 600 pixels. And combine these two with the padding of 10px up here, it's going to obviously create that space on mobile devices on each side. I'm just going to say here background of white and set a temporary property up here, a height of 50 pixels, so we can actually see what's happening. If I was to save this and refresh, we have this result right here. We can see it is basically maxed out right now at 600 pixels. If I was to resize down, we can see it's responsive and we get that 10 pixels gap on either side. So there you go. Moving on, for the confirm window, we can just go down here and we can say font size of 14 pixels. So basically this will be the base font size for all of the text within the confirm window and the child elements inside the confirm window. We can set the font size, the font family to be sans serif for now. Later on we're going to change this to be a custom font from, of course, Google Fonts. We can then set the border radius to be 5 pixels and an overflow of hidden. Basically, this property right here is going to ensure this border radius is always going to be taken place, even if there are child elements which overflow the container. A box shadow of 0, 0, 10px and RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.3, just a bit of a box shadow, 30% black. Okay, so now I can save this and refresh, and we have this result right here, so looking not too bad. So for the animation of the confirm window, it sort of looks like, if I was to go back to this example, it looks like it sort of zooms in. So what's happening is it's going from 0% opacity to 1% opacity. Sorry, it's going from fully transparent to be 100% opaque, and then it's going from 75% scale to 100% scale. So if I was to press on this, we can see here it sort of zooms in and comes in. So we're going to make that animation right now. So back inside here, we can define the keyframes for this. So we can say keyframes confirm window dash 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 open. This will be quite straightforward. It's going to be simply 2 and then opacity of 1 and transform a scale of 1. So basically, for this to work, the confirm window needs to have an opacity of 0 and a scale of less than 1. So we can go back inside here and we can say opacity of 0 by default and a transform scale at 0.75 by default when it first loads up. And then for the animation, we can say animation name confirm window dash dash open, animation duration. This will once again be 0.2 seconds. An animation fill mode, once again, of being forwards to keep the changed opacity and scale. And the most important thing about this particular animation is going to be the animation delay. So I'm going to say here animation delay and make this 0.2 seconds, the same length of the animation for the container. So the reason for this is so that this animation starts 0.2 seconds after this one has finished. Sorry, it starts as soon as this one has finished. So we can test this out. I'll make this once again 1 second for a bit of demonstration. So I can save this and refresh the browser. And we can see here it doesn't work. I wonder why. Let's go back and find out. Confirm window, there we go. So you need 3 dashes right there. Save this, refresh once again, and now we can see it comes in from 75% scale to 100% scale, and of course the opacity goes from 0 to 100% right there. Okay, and I believe that is all for the confirm window itself. We can now remove the height, and we can move on to the title bar. So basically it's going to be the title of the window and of course the actual close button. So let's go back inside this index HTML and we can write the HTML. So this will be a div with a class of confirm underscore underscore title bar. Inside here we're going to have 2 things, of course the title and the close. So for now I'm going to make a new span with a class of confirm underscore underscore title. So here will be the title of the window. For example, we can say new title just for now. And I can save this and refresh and we have this result right here. So let's work on the actual title bar. So back inside here, let's go to the CSS and it's going to be quite easy, these next couple of ones. We're going to say here confirm title bar. Let's give it a background of a dark gray. So that'll be 222s for the hex code right there. A color of completely white. Display of flex, align items center, and justify content space between. So essentially, what we're doing with this stuff here is the align item center is going to vertically center the content, so make sure it's in the center right there, and justify content space between is going to ensure that the title and the close button are completely separate, so one's on the left and one's on the right. And also, one more thing, we'll go up here and we'll say confirm title bar confirm content and confirm buttons. So these two we haven't actually got to yet, but we're going to set a padding of 1.25 EM for all of these containers, including the title bar, to ensure that they're the same padding all the way around. And essentially this 1.25 EM means 25% more than the current font size. So currently it's going to be 1.25 multiplied by 14, the current font size. And that is the padding right there. So I can save this and refresh, and we have this result right here. So right now it's looking pretty good. So let's go back inside the CSS and do a few styles just for the actual title text itself. So this will be confirm __ title, font weight of bold, and a font size of 1.1 EM, 10% larger than the current font size. So I can save this and refresh, and we have this result right here. So moving on to the close button, this will be an actual button in HTML. So let's go back inside here and write that out. So we can say here, button with a class of confirm __ close. Inside here we can use and times, the HTML entity, for the times symbol. So I can save this and refresh. We can see here we have a little X, and that is the times entity right there. So let's go inside the CSS, and we can start styling up the confirm __ close button, a background of none, an outline of none. This will remove the blue outline found on many mobile devices, a border of none, a transform of scale at 2.5. So the reason for this right here is because with the current font size of the title, the X is quite small, so we're going to just simply scale it up to be 2.5 times larger than it currently is. Once again, a color of white will work just fine, and a transition for the color property at 0.15 seconds. So obviously when you hover over the close button, it's going to turn to the color of red, so that'll then take 0.15 seconds in a nice transition. I can save this and refresh, and we have this result right here. Not bad. And of course now we can style up the hover pseudo class. So back inside here, once again, we can say confirm close on hover. Let's change the color to be red, just like that. And a cursor of pointer works fine. Save this, refresh, and it works just fine. Okay, so that is all for the close button and the whole title bar itself. So for the actual content, this is actually really easy. So let's go back inside here and write the HTML. This will be a class of confirm __ content. Inside here we can simply put the content, for example, some lorem ipsum dummy text just for now. Save this, refresh, we have this right here. Okay, so for this we're going to simply add one property, and that'll be a line height on the paragraph. So back inside here, let's say confirm __ content. We're going to add a line height of 1.8 EM just to space out those lines. I find it easier to read stuff when this line height is a bit higher. Save this, refresh, that right there, not bad. And of course also we get the padding on the left here, the same padding, or so it's the same padding as of course the title bar, and then of course the buttons container. So speaking of that, let's go back inside here and create the buttons container. So we can say here confirm _ buttons. Okay, inside here we can place two buttons, the OK and the cancel button. So we can say button with a class of confirm button, and then a few modifiers. So I'm going to say here confirm button with a class of OK, and then confirm button with a class of fill. So essentially we're going to say that this class right here is telling the JavaScript that this is the OK button. That's all it does. The confirm button fill class will create the green background on the OK button because they're actually different. So we can see here the OK is filled, the cancel is not. So the fill class will add that fill right there. We can then put OK as the button text. And for the cancel, this will be the same thing. However, it's going to not have the field class, of course, and this will instead be cancel, which once again tells the JavaScript this right here is the cancel button. And we can say here cancel as the text. So I can save this and refresh. We have this right here, not bad. So we're going to move this to the right and then style the buttons. In the CSS, we can say down here, confirm buttons, a background of a light gray, a display of flex, and justify content flex end. So this flex end is going to move the buttons to the right side. So for the buttons themselves, we can say confirm button. Let's give it a padding of 0.4 em at 0.8 em. So this is basically just meaning that we're gonna have 0.4 for the top and bottom, and double that 0.8 for the left and right. A border of 2px solid, and then the theme color of your website. In my case, I'm going to be using the decode green color, so I suggest using your theme color of your website for the border right here. A border radius of 5px, pretty standard. A background of white, just like that. A color, once again, make it the same color as your border, so 009879 for me. And a font weight of bolds. A font size of 1.1 em, looks not bad. A font family of sans serif. Once again, we're going to be changing this to be an actual font from Google Fonts. And a margin left of 0.6 em for a bit of space between the two buttons. A cursor of pointer works well, and once again an outline of none to remove the blue outline found on mobile devices when you click on the button. So save this, refresh, we have this right here. Okay, cool. So for the field OK button, let's go back inside here, and we are going to say confirm button dash dash fill, simply a background of, once again, your theme color 009879, and a text color of white. Okay, and while we're here, we may as well add the focus pseudo class. So when you actually click on the button, we want a bit of a box shadow around the button. So we can say confirm button on focus. We're going to say box shadow 003px RGBA 0.5. Okay, cool. So I'm going to save this and refresh, and we're basically done with the CSS. For now, or right now, we're going to change also the font to be from fonts.google.com. So we can just say go to this website right here. I'm sure you've heard of it. Basically, it gives you a lot of free fonts that you can use on your websites. Quite a useful tool. So I'm going to be using the font called Noto Sans. So I'm going to search here for Noto Sans. Click on this one right here, and you can expand this. Select regular and bold as your two styles. That's quite important to ensure consistency across all the browsers. And you can just embed it by copying this import right here and pasting it inside your CSS. So we can say here on the top here, import this font right there, and then the usage for the font is going to be found here, font family Noto Sans. So I'll copy this, put it inside here for the confirm window right here, and also of course the confirm button down here. Okay, cool. So I can save this and refresh, and we are done with the CSS for the confirm window and the container and all that stuff. So now we can successfully move on to the JavaScript. Okay, so for the JavaScript, as I said, we're going to be basically generating all of this HTML through the JavaScript. So we're going to firstly just comment out this stuff right here, then use it later on for just a reference, okay? But for now, we're going to go down here below the script source tag and actually demonstrate the usage of the confirm window. So the current confirm window by default in all the browsers looks like this. You just say confirm, you take in your message, and it returns true or false depending on if they press OK or cancel. So for this particular custom confirm window, it's going to work a bit differently. it's going to work like this. We're going to say confirm.open, just like that. And that'll be the function to actually open and display the confirm window. Inside here, we're going to take in a single object containing the options for the confirm window, things like the title, the message, some of the other text for the buttons, and of course the on OK and the on cancel functions, which will fire off when the user presses OK or they cancel. So here we can say, for example, something like title as being a custom confirm window, right? We can say for the message something like all your data will be removed. Are you sure you wish to continue? Something like that. For the OK text, the text on the OK button, we can say OK text, something like yeah, sure, okay. And for the cancel text, we can say nah, not just yet, for example. And now for the two functions on OK, we can say console.log, you pressed OK. And on cancel, we can say console.log, you cancelled. Wow. Okay, so these functions right here, these two functions are probably the most important part or the most significant part of this confirm window. They allow you as a developer to pass in your own custom functions or obviously functionality when the user clicks or reacts with the confirm window. If it was a real scenario right now and they were going to remove their data, maybe on the onOK inside here for this function, you would make an AJAX call to then delete their data, for example. So this right here is the usage of the confirm window. We can now go inside the JavaScript and of course implement this functionality. So we're going to begin by saying const confirm is equal to an object. So this object right here is going to have two main methods, or just two methods. It's going to have open, which will take in the options. So we can say options right here as the first and only argument. Then we can say a second method called underscore close, and this will take in a confirm element. So basically, this confirm element is going to be one of these guys right here, the main container. So I've used underscore here to signify that this is actually intended to be used privately within this object. For the options right here, we can begin on this function, I reckon the main part of this video. So firstly, we can deal with the default values, because all of this stuff right here, all of these properties, all these 6 properties are going to be optional. So for the defaults for all of these properties, we can simply say this. We can say options is equal to object.assign. We can pass in here an empty object and then our defaults as the second argument. This is a pretty popular way to actually have defaults for classes and objects and things like that. So we can say here, for example, title, empty string by default, message, once again, empty string by default, OK text for the button is going to be OK by default, cancel text is going to be cancel by default, and of course the on OK is going to be an empty function by default, and on cancel, once again, empty function by default. So now if the user decides that they want to pass in only few of these properties, then the defaults are going to take over if they weren't provided. So we can just say options as the third argument to this object.assign method, and that will of course override anything inside here with whatever's inside here. So now I can simply console.log these options and we can see what's actually going on. So I'm going to save this and refresh, check out the developer console. We can see here we have all of the options for this particular call of the custom confirm window. Okay, so the next step is going to be creating the HTML structure to be generated through the JavaScript. So this will be done using an ES6 template string. So I can say here const HTML. Now using the backtick character on your key next to the 1 in most keyboards, we're going to have this right here. So it allows for multi-line strings, which means I can simply then copy and paste this HTML right here and put it inside here. We can then do a bit of formatting right here, and we're now good to go. So now we have the HTML structure for the confirm window inside the JavaScript. We can then simply replace all of this stuff here with dynamic content. So we can say, for example, $ open curly brace, close curly brace. We can say options.title, just like that, and do the same thing for the content right here. Options.message, and of course for the OK and cancel, we can say options.okText, and then options.cancel text, just like that. Okay, cool. So now we are safe to remove the HTML from here. Okay, and we can go back inside here, and we can simply, for now, I'm going to say console.log the HTML. I'm going to save this and refresh, and we can see here the HTML is working just fine. We have all of the custom content right here, the title, the content, the year, and not just yet for the buttons. Okay, so we can now append all of this HTML right here to the actual document itself to show the confirm window. So back inside the text editor, let's create an HTML5 template element. So we can say const template is equal to document.create element. We're going to create a template element just like this. And basically, this right here is a special kind of element which just simply contains HTML used for a template. So in this case, we're going to say template.innerHTML is equal to HTML. So now we have all of this stuff right here as HTML inside here. So now I'm going to console.log the templates, save this and refresh. In the console we have this right here. If I was to expand this template, we can see here we have a document fragment, and this right here is very powerful because it contains all of these standard methods and properties for a document object. So this means you can do things like get element by ID, query selector, things like that. If I was to expand this, we get here all of the HTML structure right there for the confirm window. Okay, so to access this document fragment, we need to say template.content, just like that. Okay, so with that being said, we can then get a reference to all of these elements right here, confirm, the close button and the 2 buttons down here, and then we can add event listeners to each one of those elements. So we can say here, for example, elements. We can say const confirm element is equal to template.content.query selector. We can say here .confirm. So now this confirm constant is equal to this element right here. And we can do the same thing for the last 3 elements. This will be for btn close. This will be confirm __ close. And we can say btn OK. This will be this class right here. And btn cancel. And that will be, of course, confirm button cancel. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to then append this HTML to the actual document. So we're going to simply say document.body.append child template.content. Okay, so now we should see this HTML shown inside the actual document. So I'm going to save this and refresh the browser, and we have this right here. So we can see all of our custom content, title, message, and the buttons work just fine. I did forget to actually change the animation to be 0.2 seconds for this guy right here. So I'm going to put this back at 0.2 seconds, save this and refresh, and now it works a lot faster. Okay, cool. So now the dynamic content has been inserted. We can now work on the event listeners to, of course, react when the user presses close, they exit, they press yes, etc. So back inside here, to actually start this off, we're going to just expand or contract some of this stuff right here if we can. So options, and leave that the way it is. But for the close button, for the close method, we can simply just for now say console.log you closed the window. Then later on we can actually make sure this actually closes the window. But for now, we'll just say this in the console to see what's actually happening. Okay, cool. So let's now go down here and add the events. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to say confirm l.add event listener. When it gets clicked on, we're going to say e, and we're going to say this. We're going to say if e.target is equal to the confirm l, then we're going to say this.close and pass in the confirm l. We are also going to say options.onCancel. So essentially, we're saying here, because if this is intended to be when they press on the black opaque background, so we're saying if the event target, if what actually gets clicked on is the black background and it is not the confirm window, then we are going to call the onCancel function being passed in to the options, okay, and we're going to close the window. This will be, ._close. Okay, so I'm going to save this and I'm going to refresh. I'm going to press here. Nothing happens, obviously. If I was to press outside of the actual window, we can see here we get you cancelled wow. That is from the options onCancel function, and of course you close the window is coming from the close method inside the confirm object. All right, cool. So that's done. We can then add an event for the btn close. So we can say, actually, you know what? Let's do btn OK first. So we can say btn OK.add event listener. When they press OK, we are going to simply do this. We're going to say options.onOK. So I'm going to call the onOK method, pretty straightforward, and I'm going to say this. Once again, we're going to close and pass in the confirm element just like that. So of course, I'm going to save this and refresh now and press on the btn OK. We can see here you pressed OK from the options and you closed the window from the close method inside the confirm object. Okay, so finally here we have the events for the btn cancel and the btn close. So this is going to be done like this. We're going to say a new array for btn cancel and btn close. Okay, so those two elements inside the array. We can then say dot for each. So for each one of those elements, we're going to run this function inside here. We're going to say l.add event listener, listen for the click event, and we're going to simply say options.onCancel once again, then this._close and pass in the confirm elements just like that. So very similar, actually identical to the code inside this one right here. I can save this and refresh, and now both the close button up here and the nah just not yet buttons are going to cause the same effect. So now we can simply just add the code to, of course, close the window itself. So for this, we can go inside here and we can say confirm l.classList.add confirm -- close. So remember, this confirm l is the whole parent container, so this guy right here, and we previously added the confirm -- close modifier to the class. So this should obviously trigger this animation. So we now should see the opacity go down from 1 to 0. I can save this and refresh, press on close, it goes away, but unfortunately it is not gone from the DOM itself. So we can see here in the body it still exists, but it's just with an opacity of 0. I can bring it back by simply saying opacity of 1, for example, and it's back. No, it's not. 1, I wonder why that is. Let's see. I wonder why that is. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. There you go. So animation's still there, obviously, but yeah. So the point is, it still exists on the DOM after you add the class. So to remove it, it's going to be pretty easy. We are going to say confirm l.addEventListener. We're going to listen for the animation and event. Basically, this event right here fires off when the animation ends on an element. So in this case, when the opacity finally reaches 0 after 2 seconds or 0.2 seconds, we're going to say document.body.remove child and pass in here the confirm L. And that'll remove, of course, the element from the document itself. So I can save this and refresh, and we are done with the custom confirm window. We can, of course, go inside here, press close, it works just fine, refresh once again. Yeah, sure, it works fine. We get pressed OK, and of course you get the you cancelled wow. So now I want to show you an example of the usage. Okay, so let's go back in the editor, and we can add a button here. This button is going to be to actually change the background color. So I can say here button with an ID of btn change background. Text of change background would do just fine. Then we can say down here, I'll just comment this stuff out, and I can say down here, btn, so I can say document.querySelector. I'm going to select the btn change background. So for example, we can say btn change background just like this. Add event listener. When the button gets clicked on, we are going to run this code right here. Of course, it's going to be confirm.open. I'm going to pass in here title as being background change, and a message of being, are you sure you wish to change the background color? And essentially we can then simply do on OK. When they press OK, we're going to say document.body.style.background color as being blue. So that is that's an example of the usage of the custom confirm window. So I'm going to save this and refresh the browser, then press on this. Of course, it says yeah, you want to change it, sure, it goes to blue. And we can see here also we have the defaults for OK and cancel being used over the other one, which was yeah and nah, not just yet. Okay, so that right there is how you can create a custom confirm window using plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. I'll leave the source code for this in the description. Alright, see you later.